Hello everyone, and welcome to Capsule Cast, the quarterfinals of 2024 season. I am your host, xmat, and I'm joined once again by my lovely co-host, Fathappy.
Oh, why thank you. Lovely to be here.
It is. It's a lovely day. It's a Friday when we're recording this, so it is coming out a little bit later than normal, but...
That's true, we couldn't make the schedules quite line up.
Yes, the stars didn't quite align. Speaking of stars aligning, we'll talk about that later, Fathappy. The stars didn't align for you either. It's a bit of unfortunate this week. But yeah.
I'm certain for some teams the stars did align.
It did, that's
sadly
true.
Mine was perhaps not one of them.
Yes, unfortunately, that is not the case. But, speaking of the teams, that stars align, let's get into the first match.
Yeah, let's just move truck right
on in. Kaiju versus Derp. Derp are in a semi-final, guys. They're there. They won 2-1.
Exciting.
Yes.
Derp is one of those teams that historically been on the weak side, but finally, they make it not only into the playoffs, but into the semis. Yes. That is some exciting stuff.
Yeah, and to be honest, it was quite an exciting set of matches as well. Also, I do want to give a little props to Destiny for the graphics, as you guys can see. Got some nice new icons for the most part. A few characters that obviously don't have the new sort of icons, but yeah. The matches were really close, which obviously was kind of like shown in the fact that it was 2-1. Like, it wasn't like a 2-0, it wasn't a commanding win, which did happen for one team, which we'll talk about later on. But all the matches were within 2 bars, I want to say. I think the first match...
I believe the first match was down to half a bar.
No, I think that was the second. The first was when Derp won. And I think Dodoria...
Oh, I meant this last week.
This last week. Yes, I'm talking... this is where the confusion is going to get going on.
Yes.
So the very, very first match, I think, was maybe 3 bars. Dirt won by a bit of tag advantage, with Dodoria being on 2, and then someone else was in the back on 1. But yeah, that was right. The last, the first match of this week, which would be the second match overall, was within half a bar, because I did think that Kaiju weren't going to make it, but they did manage to pull it into a third match. But yeah, speaking of the third match, that was close as well, wasn't it?
I believe so. Hold on, I have the matches open, so let me just go see what it was like at the end. Not quite as close, a bit more like the first match, ending with Bardock versus Frost, with, I believe it's Ultimate Gohan, right, in the back.
Yeah.
Sorry, not Ultimate Gohan. Sorry, Yamcha, I think. Or is it Ultimate Gohan? I'm losing my mind.
It was, it's Yamcha. It wouldn't be Ultimate Gohan. Yeah.
I don't know, what team is it that has Ultimate Gohan?
Sentai.
Oh, Sentai. Sorry, I just remember there was a team that had a Gohan that wasn't on hybrids.
Yes.
Team Gohan.
Yes.
And my brain saw the orange gi and was like, "That's Gohan."
That's Gohan.
I did the classic mistake that everyone who's not into Dragon Ball makes, where it's like, "Oh, that's Goku, right?"
What is interesting is Derp won both matches that weren't on their home map.
That's true.
Kaiju won on the map that wasn't their home map. So maybe if Kaiju had the worst record, or I can't remember how it's exactly decided overall, maybe they would have won if Derp were the home team 2 times rather than Kaiju being the home team 2 times. Kind of interesting.
Well, clearly it's because Team Derp is true to their name. They're a bit topsy-turvy, so they get advantage when not on their home map. And in case of Kaiju, they're the big Kaiju Godzilla monster, so they need to be advancing, attacking the opposition. So they need to raise the opponent's home turf to the ground.
If I remember rightly, Derp's home map is Frieza's ship? Or am I thinking of Sentai? I don't know. If it is...
No.
No, it's not. What's Derp's home map?
Derp isn't
Was
it
it
Mount Python?
No, that's...
Oh, no, it's hyperbolic.
It's hyperbolic, yeah. Okay. I was going to say, it would be quite funny if Kaiju won on Frieza's ship. Just for the, like... Obviously, they're not Saiyans anymore, but, like, the whole, like, irony of... we can only win on Frieza's ship, but no, that's not the case. Yeah, to be honest, the highlights for me, I think Tao popped off quite a bit in one of the matches. I can't massively name which one it was, but one of them. Scout of Vegeta was pretty good. I think Bardock wasn't quite as good as what he normally is, but that might have been just because obviously we know he went against Frost at least one time. And Frost is a powerhouse, like, it has to be said.
Of all the new additions we made to the league, Frost is definitely one of the more both interesting and powerful ones. Like compared to, in terms of like how interesting the character is compared to like 21 and Jiren, with the whole like melee stun mechanic.
Yes.
In his kit, but also just like in general, like I don't think anyone expected him to be this good going in.
No, I mean,
super consistent.
He has been, like, I think obviously he was designed in a way to make Derp more competitive, but I think he has exceeded everyone's expectations.
Oh yeah,
including mine. Like, I thought he would be strong, definitely. I mean, the stun is one thing, but he has one of the, in my opinion, best B2s in the game. Results good. And yeah, his actual melee damage is quite decent as well. So he's definitely performed above what I thought he would, especially because they're running on Key 2, but he's like a melee monster. It's crazy. Yeah, so
he's one of those characters. He can do a bit of everything, I think.
Yeah, he has the kit to do everything, and I think the Key 2 works well because it allows him to get more of the dirty burst stuff when people are stunned, which I've noticed he does. He stuns someone and they'll flip back, and then they can't really dodge it. So yeah, obviously he's the standout for Derp in terms of who you look at. Of 21's there as well, but for me, the underdog, the dark horse, Yamcha,
amazing,
brilliant. Like the first match, and this is something I do vividly remember. He hit like 4 ults. It was crazy. It was like, what? He's not even.
I believe he finished off the first match with a extra large spirit ball as well.
He did. Yeah, he did. He did. So he's been crazy. Like, I think he's been good this season, but in this set of playoff matches, he's been crazy. Like,
but that's it. I think we're in agreement that we're happy that Derp moved on. We're also sad that Kaiju lost.
We are, yeah, because Kaiju...
I like Kaiju.
Yeah, you have a massive crossover with a lot of their characters, but I also do like Kaiju, because I do as well. And, I mean, with Kaiju, I feel a bit bad, because, like, they haven't done as bad as Dirt, but I don't think that they've like, been able to make really far roads into the playoffs either. So it's a shame, because it would have been nice to see them go far, but
you know what? Season 2025, it's
Kaiju's year. It's the year of Kaiju. I agree. Facts.
The year of Godzilla. But all right. Do you have anything further to say about the match?
I think we've exhausted.
I think the same.
Yes, I agree. Match number 2. We had Boo Saga versus ED. Obviously, as you can see, ED have progressed through, winning 2-1. Now, this for me was quite an interesting. Well, it was interesting for a few reasons. Obviously, and again, it was another close set of matches, 2-1. But it was interesting because this was, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, the only match where the team that was winning the first week lost in the second.
I think you're correct.
So ED were 1 0 down, and then they came back 2-1 to win the whole set. And I can't remember exactly which match it was, but I think it was the last match. Came down to like a pixel, pretty much, between Tien and I'm trying to think who it was on Boo Saga. I can't think of who. It was Spoke, and literally it was absolutely crazy. Like one hit from Spoke, Tien's dead, done, finished. Boo Saga progressed, but no, it was like within a hair's breath for ED.
It was probably within like 500 HP of each other by the end.
Ridiculous. It was crazy, and I believe that Tien. I think he did it in that match and maybe the match before. He did the Neo Tri-Beam as well.
There was a match where he did. I can't remember which one, but there was a match where he did a Neo Tri-Beam. That's right.
And he did one and then stopped.
I think he technically did two, but it's the kind of thing where it's like, with Neo Tri-Beam, you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, it's yeah. But yeah, I think even the the first match was kind of like a bit more of a stomp for Boo Saga. It was quite a heavy win, and then the flip side of it, the first match this week, the second match overall, was the other way around, where ED stomped, and then the final match was like an amalgamation of like, okay, you stomped us now, we stomped you now. Let's have like a completely just
mano
even, yeah, mano a mano, and that's what it was. It was so good. Like you couldn't like look away in that last match. Like towards the end, it was crazy.
It was excellent.
I definitely think this was the highlight for me. It was the highlight set of matches, particularly the last match. It was.
Okay. My opinion might differ on the highlight match, but I'm biased.
Yes, of course. I want. Yeah, well, you know, nothing more.
I had a stake in one of these matches.
You did. This is true. This is true.
But in terms of like the actual outcome, I mean, ED, powerful team. I think we all agree that they're a powerful team, especially this season where they managed to get their hands on Herc.
He popped off one of the matches as well, I think.
Oh yeah, Herc is one of those weird characters where I feel like historically we all consider him to be one of the best characters in the league, but somehow is it just me or has he not been that good for a season or two?
Yeah, he hasn't been the last couple of seasons been that good.
Like I feel like when I recall just historically who are the good characters, Herc would usually have been like top 10, but the last couple of seasons he's just not really popped off most matches. But it's glad to see that ED's still making it work.
But he was back to form in, I feel like it was both of the second and third rounds. He was like popping off. So it was like the old Herc had kind of like, he came out of retirement and he was back. He was ready to throw bombs at people, throw those presents.
But yeah, he was ready to throw hands and throw bombs.
Exactly.
And now on Boo Saga, I don't know what it is. I almost feel bad for Boo Saga every time because I feel like we always talk about how cracked their team is.
Yeah.
In theory, and then for whatever reason, they just never actually go as far as we expect them to.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what's happening.
I think
it's a weird one.
It's weird because, well, obviously, I'm going to draw a comparison to my own team here. Because why wouldn't I? Boo Saga have made it to like 3 or 4 like semi-finals. So it's just most of the time it's the last hurdle that they can't quite get over. But this time I just think that they came up against a team that, if you look at it on paper, ED probably have and maybe you disagree, but to me, I look at both teams. I think ED is equally as good. Like, because Krillin, they've got pretty much sorted. Mid Goku speaks for himself. He was top for so long. Mid Vegeta definitely speaks for himself. Herc, there is a question mark over Herc, but as we saw in the second and third round, he can just pop off, like he can just beat that character. And then Tien, I know that Tien's had some rough times, but he has a build that works. ED put him back on that build that has historically worked, and he worked again because he literally got them the win. So
it's like, I don't know, Jin is one of those characters where I've historically considered him one of the like consistent characters. Like no massive pop-offs, but no humongous lows either. Like typically ends the season around 42, 43, 45k, you know, like that, around there. That's what I expect out of Tian every season.
Yeah.
I actually feel like this season has been one of his worst ones. Like, I've opened the stats. He's only at 32k, so this has actually been one of his worst seasons. So it's nice that at least during the playoffs that he's working.
Yeah, I think they went back to a build that worked, the consistent build that you were on about, because they were trying a few different things, but I don't think it worked out. But yeah, I mean, commiserations to Boo Saga. I think, from what I remember, there's highlights and lowlights. And if we want to talk about low light, I think Kid Boo kind of struggled, like, especially considering how good he was last season. I think there was a few times where he struggled in these sets of matches. I think he had, there was one match where he kind of like started pulling it back for them and he was doing decent. But overall, not quite as good. Obviously, Gohan Boo is always really good. And maybe, so I talked to Dor, the coach, obviously, before the matches, and they started Buhan to go up against Krillin, to kind of like, because they thought that's probably who ED will start. Buhan has like a decent matchup against him, and even if they try to like wild card it, then obviously it'll still probably go to Buhan's favour. But I think that may have, like, that gamble might not have paid off, because Krillin did probably better than what was expected, but also I think having Buhan go up against like a mid Vegeta, where he could sort of stop mid Vegeta from getting into a roll, like a rhythm, was bigger than what maybe Boo Saga thought it was, and I think that's possibly where things might have gone wrong. But it's one of them things, you can't change what's happened. And the last match was so close that it could have been anyone's. Anyone could have went through.
Of all the ways to like be knocked out, it's always nice when you're knocked out on like okay, we're 1-1 and the last match is down to the fucking wire.
Yes.
And that is usually the best way to get knocked out.
Yes.
Because then you know that at least your team gave the best performance they could at the end, considering they lost. So.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think we've once again exhausted.
I think so. Grats to ED, and you'll get him next time, Boo Saga. It'll be the year of the
Kaiju and Boo.
Yeah,
Kaiju Boo. Kaiju Boo. There you go.
The Booju.
The Booju.
The Booju year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're losing our minds.
Yeah, I've already lost mine, bro. So you know.
We're out. We lost the playoffs.
Yeah.
Clearly, we've also lost it.
We lost the playoffs. We lost our minds. It's fine. Match 3, Sentai against Cinema. Cinema, like they won 2 in a row. This was the team I was talking about earlier. They kind of like, you know, got the job done, dispatched. No like fears about like losing any. Like, I don't even think there was much like time in either match where I thought, okay, Cinema are in trouble here, like they're gonna like potentially lose. Like they just sort of rolled into a rhythm.
I mean the last match, so obviously only match number 2,
yeah,
but it was down to Janemba versus Birder with less than a bar on Janemba and Birder in max power mode. So it was close. It was really close.
Okay. I must just be remembering the first match definitely was like a big like Cinema win. I don't think they even lost. I don't even think someone came out in the first match, like, or maybe they just tagged so much. But there was definitely multiple people left in the back. Now that you've reminded me, yeah, I do remember that now because Berta at max power, I kind of thought he might hit a B2 off, or just, and then if he hit one B2, it was over, and it would have been a 1-1 and going into a third. But what I will say, still, regardless, congratulations, Cinema, for not losing a playoff match yet.
Yeah,
because they haven't.
I don't know about you, but I would consider this like very much like an underdog victory. Because like obviously Sentai historically has been, you know, a fairly, you know, weak team until they got Jiren. But I feel like since the addition of Jiren, we've all been scared shitless every time we fought Sentai.
Yeah. No, yeah.
So
I think for me it is an underdog victory, kind of. But I was discussing it with Destiny at the time before when we faced off at the time, and I said that I was probably more confident if we managed to beat Cinema going against Sentai than what I was just going against Cinema. Because for this season, Cinema have been like really good. Like Fosha obviously has been really good, but they've got Janemba working, which is a big thing for them, I think. But yeah, Sentai, it is an underdog victory in the sense that you look at Jiren, Berta, Ultimate Gohan, and then you just look at them three and you go, okay, like, forget about Zangief and Sailman for a second, because yeah, they're not brilliant, but they're not awful characters by a long stretch.
I will say, like, when you mentioned Ultimate Gohan, I don't know if people have noticed, but Ultimate Gohan is #1 in the league.
Yeah, he's
60k.
Yeah, which is crazy because at the start of the season he was like terrible, like for a few weeks, and everyone was thinking because he had the Beast Gohan costume, and everyone was going, "Oh, it's cursed," and then I think they switched his costume, and then he started doing good. Obviously, it's all coincidental. That's not the reason that happened, but like, yeah, he's been top of the league for. I think he was top of the league for the last like 3 or 4 weeks. He just sort of spiked. It was crazy.
Yeah, he had to just shot over like Fasha and Deborah
and Frieza
and Frieza out of nowhere.
Forget that one.
What's it called? But also Jiren is also top 10.
Yeah, Jiren's just crazy. He's crap. He's the ult king. Like, well, okay, he's not quite the ult king. He's the ult prince because the king is always going to be Frieza, but yeah, he's the ult print. Like he'll constantly just throw those ultimates out, and then obviously the loop obviously isn't as prominent anymore. But like he can still get people with the ball, and then potentially loop it if they're slow enough to not react. Which somehow, you know, some characters do have that tendency to just stand still. But yeah,
I think out of all the characters in the league, like if you had to make a tier list, not based off of stats, but out of like how scared am I when this character hits the field, Jiren is very high on that list.
Oh, he's like, yeah, definitely top 5, like for me.
Oh yeah.
And then we haven't even talked about Berta, who I think has been so good since the change where his charge rate and stuff was sort of boosted, which was I think 3 years ago now. Like every season since then, I think he's been like a 45k plus character.
Berta was almost into that 50k at 47 this year, and was he in the 50k event in the
he was
the mid-season? I believe so. Right?
I don't know if it was this season or last season. He has been.
Yes.
It might have even been 2022 when Zarbon was in it. I don't know. He has been in the last 3 seasons. He's definitely been in there once. He might have even been in there twice.
He's just a good character, honestly.
Yeah, very good.
He's got his funky melee. He's got good B2s. He's got a max power mode B1.
He's the fastest in the universe. I mean,
even though we know that is demonstrably not true.
He's the fastest in the universe. He is.
But But yeah, he's
Wait, hold on.
We love to see him.
Is Goldo technically faster because he can freeze time? He's not even the fastest.
Okay, that depends on how far away the goalpost is.
Because technically speaking, he might not be even the fastest on his own team.
Okay. I will posit this. If the goal of this race is within how far Goldo can get in one breath, he is faster than Bird.
Yes! He's not even the fastest on his own team, okay? He's a liar, he's a liar.
Given the right conditions.
Yes.
Goldo could beat Birder in a race.
He could. Oh, dear. But let's talk about cinema for a quick second, because they did win. Like, they did
win.
Convincingly win. I mean,
honestly, I feel like it's about damn time the cinema gets this far in playoffs. I've always had the opinion that the cinema's lineup was in theory super strong, and they just I don't know if it's to do with their build or if it's to do with their matchups. They've just not gone as far as I thought they would, considering how strong their characters look, at least. So I'm super happy for them that like they're popping off this season.
I think they've had some like problem children issues, but they're far away from that now, because like even Garlic Jr. is popping off massively, and ever since, and I'm not going to be one to propagate my own agendas. Well, I am actually, but ever since they put Yajirobe AI on Garlic, they've been tagging, like, all their team as well has been tagging like crazy.
Let's be real. We all know that Yajirobe is the tagging.
It is. It's the king of tags.
That's not a trade secret. That is the air we breathe.
But it's the king AI. Okay, like you need.
Okay.
One.
Don't take it too far now.
You need one. You need one Yajirobe AI on your team. You just need.
No.
You do.
No.
Trust me.
All TN and Chaozus as far as the eyes can see. That's all.
Anyway, though, yeah, I think we've also exhausted this now. But
I think so. Congratulations to Cinema. Yeah. Well deserved. Unfortunate for Sentai, but they've definitely proven that they can throw hands with especially the lineup they have now. Oh. So I'm sure they'll go far next season as well.
1000%. I do agree. On to match 4, which there is an error here, which I don't know if you've yet spotted Fathappy, but you wish.
You know what? I am. Yeah, this is a dream that we're watching.
Yeah. Royals obviously won. They
yes,
unfortunately lost 2-1.
Clearly, my team won, and I'm further in the playoffs and not in testing or anything.
But what really happened is Hybrids did win 2-1. There is a little error.
They did. To very shortly speak about these matches, they were, if nothing else, explosive.
They were.
They were so fast. You could have blinked and missed these matches because they went by in a flash. They were kind of close, but at the same time, it was a case of one character goes from 100 to 0 in 5 seconds. Next character comes in, goes from 100 to 0 in 5 seconds. It was just churning through the characters on both teams at the speed of light. Yeah.
It was like ridiculous. 2 characters in particular that I will actually just mention straight off. Majin Vegeta and Adult Gohan. It was like, who can delete the other team the quickest competition? Like, it was crazy. Like, Adult Gohan would come in, he would like delete Bobbity and then start deleting someone else, and then Majin Vegeta would come in and then he would be like, how dare you delete my team? And he would like delete Adult Gohan, delete like Trunks or whoever came in there, and it was just like a battle off between who could be the like carry of their team more. And speaking of carry of their team, King Cold did maybe not carry you, but he did push you along. He tried. Yeah. In that second match. Speaking of which, before I go too much into that, Hybrids won first, then Royals won, and then Hybrids won. Just if anyone's confused. So in the second match where Royals won, to bring it back, King Cold, I think he did. He must have done about 60k. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I would imagine that he did about 50-60k. And
I would think so. I have not done the stats either, even though I sometimes do them for my team. What's it called? But he did pretty good. And honestly, the matches were pretty close too. In the first match, where obviously we lost, it was down to less than a bar, less than half a bar, honestly. In the second match, where we won, it was down to like Majin Vegeta had a bar lead when he just blasted, I think it was Team. And then in the last match, it was down to the absolute wire with less than half a bar on both sides. So the matches went by quick but very close.
If you have one culprit to blame for your loss, though, it is Bobbity, rather unfortunately, because I don't know about the first match, but from my hazy memory, I don't think he particularly did well in that. But the second and third, he didn't have it might not have been his fault, because he did go against Adult Gohan at the very least twice.
Yes. I think he got his worst matchup, given he has a natural defense negative against Mr. Explosive Damage Output himself.
Yes.
But I think in the second match, he technically didn't do that bad. Because he did get off some B2s, and he did take out Saiyaman as well. But I do agree, in the second match, he got absolutely destroyed without getting to do anything.
Yeah.
But he did try. He fired off some ults. He did some stuff, just didn't hit. So he tried his heart out, just to no avail.
I think the Saiyaman versus Deborah matchup didn't go quite how I expected. I don't know if you would agree with that. But I thought Deborah would kind of clean house.
That is also kind of what I expected, which it didn't end up happening. But what's it called? It was fairly close both times.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those things where I don't really regret putting Deborah as my starter, because I think it's what works out the best. If I put anyone else as my starter, it would probably
It
would probably have been either Bobbity or Meta. But if Meta is the starter, I don't get Supernova. So, that's the only thing. Is I actually feel like my best starter is Meta, but when I put Meta as a starter, I don't get a Supernova. So
well, yeah, exactly, and
So it's one of those things where I kind of have to pick and choose.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm surprised by how well Sam did. He really stepped up, considering what the playoffs. And I don't think he's historically done that well.
His average this season, I don't think is very good.
Yeah,
it's 35 maybe, but
32.
There you go. I was going to say 33, but I thought maybe I'm lowballing it, but no, yeah.
No. You actually have to round down.
Yeah.
32.2. So, but honestly, the fact that he's stepping up in playoffs is, nice for hybrids. I'm not too mad that I lost, because it was some good matches. Honestly, just the fact that I saw, I think there were 3 characters that hit the field within 20 seconds or something at one point, just because
delete.
Gohan deleted Bobbity, then Majin Vegeta comes in and deletes Gohan. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was a fun way to go out and nothing else, because I was kind of flabbergasted at how quick the matches were.
Well, yeah, we were talking off air about how you thought that I think you couldn't catch the last one, so you watched it on the VOD, and it looked like there was only one match left because it was 11 minutes, but actually it was 2 matches in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I wasn't able to watch the last week live, so I just looked at the VOD and was like, wait, only 10 minutes left? Ah, damn, I lost. And then I didn't realize, because we had 2 5 to 6 minute matches, which is crazy in a 5v5.
Yeah.
So
most 4v4s are 8 minutes, like 8-9 minutes. So for 5v5s to be 5 minutes is kind of crazy. So yeah.
Still excellent matches. I'm not too sad that I lost. Honestly, my team has probably won too much historically.
Considering you're a new team, you're pretty good at competing for bowls. We'll put it that way.
This is also the season where Majin Vegeta got nerfed. That's my excuse. But honestly, congratulations to Hybrids. Strong team, especially now that Sword Trunks works again. Which I know he was a problem for a few seasons, and then he suddenly got working, and now he's crazy. So
this is true.
Yeah.
Congrats, Hybrids, commiseration, Royals, and on.
Thank you.
To predictions for the semi-final matches. Predictions, exactly.
For once, predictions are going to be fairly short.
It's going to be incredibly short. So the predictions for these, by the way, and I'm sure that it was explained last week, but it's going to be predicting the whole set. So we're predicting the whole semi-final because that's when the next cast will obviously be predicting the actual bowl. So Dirt versus Hybrids is the first match.
It's an interesting one.
It is. My heart says Dirt. My head says Hybrids.
Kind of same. I feel like if I had to put money on this, and if I had to put money on it and wanted to win, I would probably put it on Hybrids.
Yeah.
Given how they don't get me wrong, I have a very high opinion of my own team. Everybody knows this, given how I act every single cast. But the fact that the Hybrids beat me, I'm like, man, you know what? The Hybrids is a pretty good team too.
They must be a good team. They beat me.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll probably give it to Hybrids. Derp, obviously, no slouch. This is probably one of their best seasons ever. And I hope that they win. Honestly, I think Hybrids is gonna win, but it would be more fun if Derp won because it's Derp. So
to counter you, and to sort of make the prediction sort of fun, I'm gonna go with Derp, and I'm gonna go with it on the basis not only of my heart, but the fact that Frost is he's just a beast, and if they can match it up where Frost goes against Adult Gohan, or even 21, I think that they could outburst Adult Gohan, and then things might start to tip on a scale. But yeah, I'm going to go with Derp.
No, that's fair. I went with my brain, you went with your heart.
Yes.
So let's see what wins out.
Let's see what wins out. It's the festive season now, so the heart should win, really. But that's Speaking of the festive season, I didn't say this earlier, but ED versus Cinema, you've got to remember, with it being the festive season, and we've already seen it already, the champ is out in full force. So I just want you to remember that before you go into your prediction. It's giving season.
That's true. We can expect some absolute cinema. Okay, so this is the opposite of the last one because I want cinema to win.
But
I've talked a lot with Cinema's coach. I followed Cinema a lot. I really want Cinema to win. I think, and I do think they actually have a really strong. I think the lineups are extremely close in power level, but I want Cinema to win a little bit more, just because I like the characters more, to be honest. So I'm gonna give it to Cinema. Not because I think ED is a slouch team or anything. It's just the characters are slightly more boring compared to Janemba, the fusions, Garlic on Cinema. So I prefer those characters a bit.
Well, going off the string to your bow that you said earlier, obviously one of these teams did beat me in the playoffs, and they did beat me 2 times. So they must be a very, very good team to be able to do that. So I'm going to give it to... No. If I take that off, my bias cap off, the match will be really close. or the match is. I think I will actually give it to Cinema, because I just think the way that they've been winning mostly convincingly, because I think they beat us 2-0, but the second match, a bit like how their second match with Sentai went, was a lot closer, but they still won. But they just seem on a roll right now. Garlic is like tagging like crazy. Janemba's working really well, and I think Edie could, don't get me wrong, definitely win. We didn't even talk about Krillin earlier. He's been probably the most consistent character, in my opinion, for the last 3 seasons, probably. So Edie can win, but I just think right now Cinema are on the wave of momentum, so I'm going to give it to Cinema.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I also just realized that Tien, he hangs out a lot with Chaozu, but Cinema, they have Garlic Jr., who's like a direct counter to the little vampire dude. So,
Edie
clearly
counts
Cinema
Cinema.
just has the advantage.
Yeah. They have the counter. The counter
Exactly.
to Tien. Alright, well, that's us both in agreement then. 2-0.
I think so.
Okay, well, with that, I would like to thank everyone who's got to this point in the video that hasn't turned off, from hearing me and Fathappy laugh way too much about our own demise, and
Hey, us enjoying ourselves only makes for a better viewing experience.
This is true. As long as everyone else is enjoying our humour, that's fine. But thank you for watching to this point. Check out the links to the Discord, the website, the Twitter, and our TikTok in the description below. While you're down there, comment for us to, any improvements that you would like us to make. Maybe if it's, stop laughing, or stop making jokes, or stop talking about your own team. Whatever it is, just leave it down there.
I'm gonna be real. If any of those things are in the comments, then I'm never gonna be cool.
or they'll just be softly ignored. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I've been your host, xmat, joined by my lovely co-host, Fathappy. Yes. And we will see you all in the next one.